Good morning, top of the morning to you. It's your brother Bedford out here getting it in. Not a big crowd out. Try to get out as early as possible before people start coming out with the dogs and walking, and then it gets a little congested and you find yourself trying to bob and weave to kind of keep the social distancing intact. So I just want to come to you quickly before I finish getting this workout in this morning. Something's been heavy on my heart. Prior to the coronavirus, I had come on a couple videos talking about the McKinsey report. And the McKinsey report talked about how bad the job situation would be for black people, how bleak it would be in the coming years because of automation and AI, artificial intelligence. George Fraser and many others, John Hope Bryant, they've been touting the numbers from other reporting, talking about the wealth and income disparities. And all of these things projected how our situations would be if nothing changed in the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years, right? I mean, there were projections talking about, 2020, 2050, black people would be as if we had 30 years just to play around. So I say all that to say that, and it's funny because the words that I used to hear George say, he said, if nothing changes, right? These are the projections. So something has changed. The coronavirus has interrupted those projections. The way that things were going has been totally interrupted, and those projections of what black business or black people would look like in terms of income and wealth and business in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, all of that has been brought right, that timeline has been brought right to our doorstep. I mean, the time is now. Over the past 2 weeks, there were 10 million unemployment claims filed with the federal government. That's never been done in history. This is depression-like unemployment that we're just entering into this week. And they didn't even have all of the numbers. This week, they're expecting another 5 to 10 million people filing for unemployment. We're talking about between 15 to 20 million people within a 3-week period, where it took 3 years for those claims to reach a little over 6 million in the last recession, what was between 2006 to 2009. 3 years. We're talking about 3 weeks. We've already crushed to double those numbers, and will probably be triple those numbers by the end of this week. So what are you talking about, Brother Bedford? Now is the time for you to really begin to think entrepreneurial, to become entrepreneur, to begin to look at your talents, your skills, your gifts, and begin to build income around that. Yes, first starting now with the education, the training, the connecting. We've been talking about this forever with the home-based businesses, but really now learning, getting the mindset right. Now we're being forced to incorporate certain disciplines and habits that really bode well for us as entrepreneurs. You may not like it, but in terms of building something, some of these restrictions give you the foundational tools to help you with that. And so we want to take full advantage of this time. We can't allow ourselves to let this play itself out. And then when this is over, we're so far behind. And the people who are in positions to give lifelines, they don't want to give no lifelines. We have to be very blunt about that. If we get all of the aid and assistance you can, get the help, get the loans, get the grants, I'm not saying don't do that. But start thinking about the next 5 to 10 years, what your life would look like, because that is not going to be available to us. So we have to begin to think and do for self. We have to begin to do that expeditiously, if I'm still in the word from Don King, expeditiously. We have to really take this time to study, get the mindset, get the emotional intelligence that we need, and begin to make the connections. Network with your brothers and sisters, like-minded brothers and sisters. Think about joint ventures, strategic alliances, but more importantly, think about what you bring to the table. So that's what I'm saying. We got to get it together first while we have the time, start connecting, start building. That's all I wanted to say. That's been heavy on my heart, because we are really, if they're talking recession, which we're already in, and it's getting worse, really for black people, it's already a depression. The numbers in terms of health it's going to be staggering. But also the impact economically for us, it's going to be traumatic. And so we have to be forward thinking, and we have to take on this challenge right now of learning, engaging. That's why we're doing this Power Podcast series. And tomorrow is Les Brown and George Frazier. It's going to be very entertaining, but also very enlightening. So make sure that you get on. If you need the notifications, go to newblackpower.com. I'll make sure that I notify you, send you the emails about the live stream, but also to make sure that you don't miss any. And I'm going to be accumulating some notes that I want to try to disseminate to brothers and sisters who are missing. I'm trying to pull some nuggets, some highlights to help us with our entrepreneurial and business building endeavors. So it's your brother Bedford. Go to newblackpower.com. Make sure you let everyone know about Les Brown and Dr. George C. Frazier. It's like a battle of the legends tomorrow. I want you to be there, but I really had to say this because, again, I think there's a reason why Trump keeps saying, we got to get it back open. We got to get it back open. Now, I know a lot of you looking at it saying, this dude just totally insensitive. He knows that at some point, the way that this system is structured, it gets to a point of no return. And us as black people, we can't let ourselves be blindsided by the things that are going to be happening in the future with the monies, your and my tax dollars, and our families, how that's going to be impacted. So, this is your brother Bedford. This video is going a little bit long. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow on the live stream. Take care.